This Brandon soundboard.
He's a nut.
Well, one day we're going to get the technology right where you're going to be able to hear us. One day.
You are now listening to...
You've got to say, I'm a human being! God damn it! My life has value!
I do tend to explode only when by myself.
It's called play therapy. No medication, no suicide thoughts.
That's evil. Being stupid about it is evil.
I'll let myself off. I know where the emergency exits are.
That right there, that's a passenger running along the tarmac after jumping from the plane, the emergency exit.
Let's go to John in San Diego. What's going on, John?
Can you address the Bohemian Grove?
You start calling me a foreign agent, those are fucking fighting words. Excuse me.
I believe that I am capacitated to sit in the emergency exit row of this
But in the event of an emergency, your regular exit might not be the quickest or safest way out. Emergency exit.
Hey! This emergency exit is painted on!
There's no way out! There's no way out! We're doomed!
That's right. Now is the time to open your mind. In our search for the unknown, who knows what we will find? This is Emergency Exit. This is episode 52. Today is September 25th, 2017. We are coming to you again from our floating tin can far above the world. I am your host, Los. With me as always is Brandon, the hard hat Mitchell. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great. How are you, buddy?
Doing well. Thank you. It's been
Sorry I didn't join in on the singing there, but harmony's not really my thing.
It's true, right? I don't know.
Oh,
We haven't sung together.
Yeah, let's keep it that way.
All right. If you are hearing this, it means the world hasn't ended immediately. So, if you're not aware and you missed it, stay tuned. We're going to be discussing the mysterious Planet X. We got a special report from Brandon over here. So, whatever you call it, the theory is pretty simple. A mythological planet in our solar system that will supposedly crash into Earth and wipe out the human race. That's essentially how it's going to go.
Yep.
So, won't you come and join us as we talk about Planet X and the end of the world? But first, let's talk to a kick-ass person. That's right. All right, we're just gonna start the interview over, okay? It doesn't matter who comes, they lead interesting lives, and now it's time to let them shine. We will interview all the fresh, all the cool, kick-ass people of our time. We've got questions, they've got answers. Kick-ass people with Nick and Los and Brandon, yeah.
Emergency. The fresh exit.
All right, we've got Heather Fazio on the line. Fazio, am I saying that right? Fazio, that's right. Fazio. It's a real beautiful name. And she's a hero, a kick-ass person. And she's a Texas political director for Marijuana Policy Project. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Thanks so much for the opportunity to join y'all today. Marijuana Policy Project is a national nonprofit working at the federal, state, and local level to reform marijuana laws. In fact, we're the largest nonprofit working exclusively on marijuana policy. We've led several campaigns you probably have heard of. Most notably, Colorado 2012 became the very first state to legalize adult use of marijuana.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I think we all remember that.
How could we not? We're jealous.
Very jealous down here, but, depending on where you lived, very great time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. And since then, we now see 8 states that have replaced prohibition with regulation, 29 states that have allowed patients safe and legal access to medical cannabis if they have a doctor who thinks it can benefit them and they have a debilitating medical condition for which cannabis can treat. MPP was behind about half of those, working with allies, building coalitions, and that's exactly what we're doing here in Texas, looking to move forward with a more humane and sensible policy when it comes to cannabis.
And we're looking at those models of California and Oregon, all those states that have decriminalized it, right? And are we going to use them as the models for our states?
Well, it's hard to look at California as a model for anything, but
yeah.
We do.
Hey, I'm from California.
Hey, so am I, and I'm glad to be here in Texas. But a lot of their policies haven't worked out very well. It's been, over 20 years since they instituted the first marijuana program. And, we're really grateful for them having been pioneers, but we can't say that it's been much of a success. There's been a lot of turmoil with the policies and back and forth. And, there's a patchwork policies throughout the state. We want to see a little bit more cohesion and not to put too much blame. They were pioneers, but we want to learn from what other states have done and try to institute the best, most effective policy here in Texas. And so most immediately, what we want to see is a medical program here in our state that allows those with debilitating medical conditions to access cannabis for medicine. And then also, we have to stop the bleeding when it comes to the number of arrests for simple possession. The state of Texas arrests between 60 and 70,000 people every year for the simple possession of a plant that we know to be objectively safer than alcohol, tobacco, and quite frankly, many of the pharmaceutical drugs that patients are prescribed every day.
Absolutely. I'm going to give you the clap in this. You couldn't have said it any better there. They're turning these people that are nonviolent criminals into just that, criminals. And it's not cool, man. They get a record and, they got to pay these fines for a simple plant.
It's totally unreasonable. And a majority of Texans agree. The vast majority of Americans agree. It's just lawmakers that are behind the times. And so what we've been doing is working on building our coalition, Texans for Responsible Marijuana Policy, which is bringing together folks that, you'd expect to see advocating for this kind of policy, the fantastic chapters of NORML throughout the state, libertarian groups, Democrats, but bringing into the fold more of our conservative and libertarian allies. So we're, the Republican Liberty Caucus, Republicans Against Marijuana Prohibition, the 10th Amendment Center, which is a states' rights organization, all coming together on an issue upon which we agree. And, this country is facing unprecedented division when it comes to political nonsense. And if we as a community and as Texans can find issues where we agree, we have to come together. We have to start humanizing these issues and moving forward with policy that works for us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How far ahead are we? Where are we standing right now in Texas?
In 2015, the legislature passed the Compassionate Use Act, which was groundbreaking, to be sure. It was the first time that the Texas legislature acknowledged that cannabis is, in fact, medicine. And the governor not only signed the bill, but he had a signing ceremony in his office. It really was an incredible moment. Of course, we pushed for something a little bit to be a little bit more broad and more inclusive. This program is unreasonably restrictive in that it's only for those with intractable epilepsy. It only allows them to access low THC cannabis, THC being one of the elements within the cannabis plant. It does have psychoactivity, but that's part of the reason why it works so well in the brain for so many different patients. And, the passage of this bill really demonstrated a shallow understanding of the plant and how it works, which means that those of us who do understand how it works and are looking at policies around the country have more work to do. We have more conversations to have with lawmakers, with their staff. And what we've been doing is working on bringing people from the community into their lawmaker's office. So doctors and nurses who want to talk about this issue from a scientific standpoint, patients who have conditions like cancer, PTSD, Crohn's disease, chronic pain. We're seeing cannabis being used to get people off of opiates at an astounding rate. Opiate overdose deaths are down 25% in states that allow cannabis access. So helping people to communicate with their lawmakers, because so often we have strong opinions and we want to see policies change, but we don't know where to start. And so that's what we're working on doing with Texans for Responsible Marijuana Policy, hosting lobby days, working with individuals who want to go meet with their lawmakers, giving them effective talking points, helping them to schedule meetings, and to prepare for that professional sit-down conversation about why these policies need to change.
Why is it that we are not following with all this other decriminalization, the legalization, all that stuff? Is Big Pharma involved trying to keep that so that opioid users keep using their product?
Well, there's no question that pharmaceutical industries are involved in politics. As long as government is regulating a market, lobbyists from businesses within that market are going to be at the Capitol talking to lawmakers. What's important is that the people are getting involved, and we see, so few real people coming to the Capitol to talk to lawmakers. I always say we have representative government. Our lawmakers represent those who show up. And most of the time, it's bureaucrats and lobbyists. It's not citizens who are concerned about the direction of their government, the direction of their country, and have solutions for how policies could be instituted to take a better path forward. And so that's more than anything, what we need to do. We have the numbers in Texas. Over 80% of us think that patients should have safe and legal access to cannabis medicine. And so few of us are actually showing up at the Capitol. But things are changing, and that's why we were able to see in 2015 the passage of this program. In 2017, earlier this year, there was a bill that would have made that program more inclusive. Now, unfortunately, it didn't make it through the legislative process, but we saw unprecedented movement. We saw more than half of the Texas House of Representatives, including 30 Republicans, very conservative lawmakers, signing on to a comprehensive whole plant medical cannabis program for Texas. And what we want to do is continue on that momentum toward 2019, which is our next opportunity to change laws in Texas.
And what are we proposing there?
In about 13 months, we'll be able to start introducing legislation. Lawmakers are elected in November of 2018, and just days after that, they'll be introducing laws for consideration, just 6 days after election.
Yeah.
And so they get right to work, which means that we get right to work. And quite honestly, we don't ever stop. We have a 2-year political cycle here in Texas. There's about 6 months where they're actually in session passing laws, and the rest of the time they're pretty much running for office. And we are in the part of the cycle where they're getting into running for office, which means they're accessible, that we can talk to them, we can share our personal experiences, whether it's ourselves or a loved one who need access to cannabis for medicine, or if it's someone that you know or yourself who's been arrested and has been negatively affected by the collateral consequences that come along with an arrest and conviction for even a tiny amount of marijuana. And, hindered access to education, employment, housing, your driver's license getting suspended, hindered access to your Second Amendment rights. I just learned in my license to carry course over the weekend. You lose your license for 5 years if you're convicted of a Class B misdemeanor. First of all, that's unacceptable. To be infringed seems pretty clear to me. But the bottom line is that the laws are on the books, and we have to do something to change them. And so between now and 2019, we work on mobilizing, having these conversations, so that in January 2019, when the legislature convenes, we're ready to hit the ground running, see these bills introduced with ample support to make it through the legislative gauntlet in time to pass into law.
Absolutely. Great. Absolutely.
So yeah, it sounds like, the support is there from the public overall. It's just, the laws are old and people aren't getting out to actually show their support and fight for a cause. Does that kind of sum it up? They're not being politically active?
Right. Too few of us are anyway. And it is frustrating. And, many of us don't want to be involved in politics at all. And I can't blame them. It is not really fun to be involved in surrounding yourself with these people. What is exciting, though, is when we start gaining traction and we start giving hope to people who need it most. And that's what we're seeing now more than ever in this country, the sweeping of reform over the last 5 to 10 years. It has a lot to do with access to the internet, sharing of information. We no longer have to trust the government to tell us what's good for us and what's bad for us.
That's a big
Thank goodness.
Which is a big thing.
Yeah.
Big thing.
We can organize ourselves, organizing lobby days and support groups and sharing of information.
Right.
All of this is critical. And, unfortunately in Texas, we don't have the ability to put something onto the ballot for the citizens to vote on. In all these states that have legalized it, or how I refer to it, replacing prohibition with regulation.
There we go.
It all goes back to them collecting signatures and getting it placed on the ballot and then mobilizing people to vote. Unfortunately, in Texas, we don't have ballot referendums for our citizens. So we have to go through our lawmakers, which makes it even more important to get out of your comfort zone, talk to your neighbors, your family, your lawmakers, getting in there to schedule a one-on-one meeting. Go suited up, dress professionally, be prepared with your talking points. And I can talk with anybody about effective messaging and things to bring up, sharing your personal story, keeping it short and sweet, and planting a seed to humanize the issue so that they can look at someone and relate to them and move forward with developing their ideas of how these policies can work. And then we go back during the session and we secure them on as co-authors of bills.
Wow, that's you guys are doing a lot of, I'm sure, dirty work too. Just, like you said, you guys will organize the meetings for the citizens to go meet. I'm sure it's probably a little more complicated than a phone call. Is it not?
Well, you'd be surprised how easy it is, actually. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work to help people get prepared for that, and that's where I come in, is giving them the confidence to do it, because it's overwhelming. It can seem intimidating, but the bottom line is they work for us.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you go into these offices, they're surprisingly welcoming and friendly, especially now more than ever. They used to be able to get away with not having this conversation, simply shutting it down, not scheduling meetings, not talking about it. And now they're willing to have that 15, 20-minute conversation with a constituent or with an advocate and actually talk about it. They want to learn about it. They want the resources. And so let's give it to them. Yes. And let's help make it easy for them to make the right choices.
Absolutely.
Heather, are you a smoker yourself?
I am an occasional consumer, not really regularly. For me, this is more about liberty. It's about justice. It's about good government policy. And, nobody should go to jail for a plant. It's absurd. And when we talk about patients being deprived of medicine, it is absolutely inhumane and despicable that people would uphold these policies, keeping people from a quality of life that helps them to enjoy their lives and to live longer if possible.
But there's a lot of plants that can kill you, and they keep them away from us for a reason. Like poppies, you're not allowed to have those. Not like those flowered ones, but the ones that produce opium.
Sure. With freedom comes responsibility.
Yes.
And we have to take that upon ourselves to be responsible. It's, having a conversation about the entire war on drugs is important. We're working here just on marijuana policy, but the entire war on drugs has been a complete failure. And so thinking about a better way forward is something that's critical. And we're seeing it happen more and more on the federal level, bipartisan support for sensible criminal justice reform. And I appreciate organizations like the Drug Policy Alliance that continue the conversation moving forward, that helping to break down the stigma of talking about drug policy, talking about addiction, which is serious. But we're seeing that these policies of lock them up are not helping people to get off of drugs. In fact, it's exacerbating the problem by leaving people with criminal records and without resources to actually get jobs and help themselves overcome substance abuse, which again is a critical problem in this country.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so.
Yeah, we just did our episode on the war of drugs and how big of a failure it is, but it's still going on due to lobbying and not lobbying, but it keeps going on because it's they're spending the money to. What were we talking about there? The trillions of dollars being spent on this whole war has done nothing because it's still going. It's 40 years. It never was meant to end.
Yeah, just keep going.
You're right. The American empire doesn't only have its warfare sights set on the rest of the world through imperialism. It's right here in this country. It's the war on drugs, even the war on terror being used to turn this country into a domestic surveillance state. It's horrible, the policies that we have enacted, and we allow fear to drive policy making rather than sensible decision making, rather than thinking about how these policies have unintended consequences and that we have to put liberty first. That's what this country was founded on.
That's right.
Is having a government in order to secure the life, liberty, and property of every individual within our borders. And unfortunately, we have gotten very off track there. And we have work to do on many fronts. Marijuana policy simply is one of them. It will keep almost 60,000 people out of jail. that they shouldn't be in jail to begin with, which is going to ease up resources so that we might be able to facilitate justice to victims of real crime for a change. Violent and property crime are on the rise in Texas, and it's because we are misallocating resources that are already stretched to begin with.
We're seeing in California that a lot of these shops are, you're not getting your weed any cheaper out there, and you still have the same black market out there. So if there's going to be like they lift the prohibition on it there, you're still seeing a black market. And you definitely we have to sell it at a cheaper rate. You're still seeing higher prices. What's the big, why would we see that in California?
Yeah, no, you're right. And we talk about eliminating the black market by regulating cannabis instead of prohibiting it, especially in Texas, where the violence on our border is very real and is in large part due to drug trafficking. And when cannabis is a significant part of that, at least it has been historically, we can undercut that by bringing it into the light of day. And in California and in these 9 states, let's not just single out California, but in these 9 states that now have legal markets, maybe excluding Alaska because of its proximity. But we're seeing cannabis coming from these states because it's higher quality. It's a better product. Yeah. The market is speaking. And that is where the black market is coming from in California. It's getting shipped out to states where there is a demand. Therefore, there will be a supply. This is basic economics. And you'd think that Republicans that love to talk about the free market, they love to talk about limited government. But when it comes to something that has this big boogeyman behind it, cannabis, which they equate to heroin, which is absurd when it comes to Schedule I status. We have to start breaking that down and talking about how is this fit into the bigger picture. And when we institute a regulated market in Texas, we're going to see violence associated with the black market dropping. We're going to see safer products for consumption. We're going to see tax revenue going into the state. And we're going to see a happier state of the union. We have so much opportunity here with this simple change to a policy that has not worked for decades. And now we see people coming forward, not afraid to talk about the issue anymore. We have professionals, academics, lobbyists, former cops, judges, doctors, patients, advocates,
everybody
all talking about it. Everyone talking about this issue. And, the time has come, and it's such a thrill to be a part of history. And so I invite everyone listening to join us. Let's get involved. Let's get active, and let's expedite this process.
Let's do it, indeed. Here, I got one last little question for you here. How far is Texas away from ending prohibition on marijuana?
Well, it's tough to say. Every 2 years, our legislature meets. So we don't have another opportunity until 2019. And after that, it's not until 2021. And so what we're looking at is opening up this restrictive medical program in 2019 and decriminalizing small possession. We want to institute a simple ticket and a fine for 1 ounce or less, no arrest, no jail time, no criminal record, and none of the collateral consequences that come along with those things for under 1 ounce. That's our immediate goal for 2019, which opens up 2021, which, it's hard to say with such an uncertain political climate at the federal level with the current administration. I think that's a nice way to put that. It's hard to say what the federal government's going to do. We were of the mind that the feds would probably make a change, and they still might make a change before Texas does, which is going to make it easier for us to get this done in 2021. That's our goal, to replace prohibition with regulation in Texas by 2021.
Awesome.
How would you regulate somebody driving under the influence? How would you I know that they were trying out some sort of breathalyzer, but that was a failure.
That's a really good question, and I appreciate you bringing that up because we have to be prepared to talk about the real concerns that reasonable people have with these kinds of policy changes, and a reasonable person would be concerned with DUIs going up. But DUI is already against the law, and most people that are going to use cannabis are already using it, just at great risk, except, of course, for the patients who are too scared to have to go through chemotherapy in jail rather than with their loved ones. But, we have to think about DUI as something that is a concern. And in other states, we have seen very minimal changes to DUI and accidents. And so where you might have heard a report recently about, that accidents in these states, it's now being discovered that most of these people were under the influence. Well, it's not because more people are driving under the influence, it's because they're actually testing for cannabis now. And it doesn't matter if you're under the influence at the moment, or as you guys probably know, cannabis is in your system for up to 30 days.
It's going to be there for a little
1
bit.
month.
And keep in mind that when they're testing people in accidents, they're even testing the victims of accidents. And so that person who got T-boned by whoever is getting tested, and whether or not they were under the influence at the time or not.
Everybody's on weed here. What the hell's going on? Everybody's smoking weed.
Yeah. And crashing into each other. But that's just not the case.
You're right, because, I'm a very heavily user. I'm a very heavy user, not heavily. But, I don't see it as something that, will get me super crazy high where I can't drive or anything. That's why I was asking, because I probably do take a hit or two and then I can drive and ain't nothing, there's no problem,
Yeah, and it's different for everyone, just like having one beer versus two for different people is going to make a difference.
Correct.
And we have kind of created these standards because we're able to talk about it. We talk about having one drink per hour. We'll make sure that you're definitely safe to drive. And everybody's metabolism is different. You're right. There have been some tests that are they're trying to find a way to tell, are you under the influence right now? And they haven't been successful in doing that. And I'm optimistic that they will be. They just haven't been so far. But let's keep in mind that DUI is already illegal.
Mm-hmm.
They already arrest people for driving under the influence of cannabis right now. They have other tools to look at, sobriety tests and things like that. And if they have a case, if you're driving dangerously, if you're swerving or you're waiting for the stoplight to turn green, the stop sign to turn green, then they're going to have evidence. They can do sobriety tests, and they can use that evidence to build a case against you. They do that right now, and we can continue doing that.
You're right, because if you give them a reason to pull you over, you're the one that's, that something obviously was going on.
Yeah, exactly. If they
don't
stopped you.
Yeah,
exactly.
You just sat there at the red light, and then it turned green. You sat there till it turned red again. This guy's fucked up, and then he decided to go, or he runs red lights or whatnot. Mm-hmm. Basic things like that will get you pulled over, and obviously, if you're able to keep your composure when you drink, I'm just kidding. Man. You should drive. No,
either you were or you weren't driving recklessly. Either you were or you weren't. You're either impaired or you're not.
Yeah.
And so, they have these other tests to be able to tell. But, there was actually a study done, and I don't remember the name of it's a National Institute or National Administration, Highway Administration. They did a test on driving under the influence of cannabis versus all the other distractions. And they found that it has very little effect. In fact, driving under the influence of cannabis impaired you less than having a second driver in the car or having the radio on.
Wow.
And that's a federal study that just came out last year. Oh, wow. That's significant information.
Yes,
now, that's difficult. It's important for us to know. It's difficult to go and say, well, hey, it doesn't matter if they're under the influence because it doesn't really affect you. So I steer clear of that conversation. But the bottom line is that's the truth.
Yeah.
And so if they want to, bring that up, I'm prepared. I've got an arsenal of, myth busters to help diffuse any of the nonsense, because we still hear so much nonsense from these people who have been hearing for decades that marijuana is a gateway drug, that, teen use is going to go up if we decriminalize it and normalize it. It's just simply not the case.
Well, I think it probably will. I mean, shoot.
No, it hasn't been shown in any state that's ever changed any of their laws over the last 20 years.
I think it's like
decriminalize.
I think it's the media and the movies that get people to smoke. Like I don't know. These Seth Rogen movies are all about smoking weed, and it becomes normal. And these like 15-year-olds are like, "What is that?"
Come around to it,
and it pops up. Some bad kid at school has it, and then you're like, "Yeah." And then you have this
whole
thing.
I mean, my friend, all of that's happening right now under prohibition.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So kids are still gonna do it either way.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Yeah, it comes down to education. It comes down to parental responsibility in talking to your kids about drugs, about alcohol, and making sure they're making the right decisions, knowing who they're hanging out with, and, understanding that is the responsibility of families and of communities to take on, not of the government.
Yeah, exactly.
And giving that kid a criminal record. Giving the kid a criminal record certainly isn't going to put him on the right track.
No,
Right.
definitely not.
Well, their coaches are having them kneel during the Pledge of Allegiance and the national anthem.
You mean?
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. The national anthem. Anyways,
let's not go down that track, guys.
I know. I have to get off of Facebook because I'm getting really sick of showing the flag code to everybody. But then they're like, "Oh, you can't do it this way." Anyways, either way, thank you, Heather, so much. Where can we find your Twitter and any sort of a good website that we can find all your good information?
Yeah, please visit texasmarijuanapolicy.org for more information about the work that we're doing now, to sign up for email alerts and action items. That, I think, is maybe the most important thing that I can ask listeners to do, is sign up for that email list. We don't send out very many emails, but when we do, it's important information about what's going on in Texas, and most importantly, what's going on in your district, how you can take action. Whether, it's during the legislative session and we need you to send a quick email to your lawmaker or make a quick phone call to ask them to vote for a certain bill that's up that day. We're up to the minute with these action alerts. And when we send something out, we really need folks to take action. Because like I said before, the citizens of Texas are on board with this. We are on board and ready to take action, but we need to know how to do it. And that's what we're doing, is providing the action items, the specific information on how you can be a part of this movement to institute sensible marijuana policies in Texas. So the website, again, is texasmarijuanapolicy.org. Following us on Facebook and Twitter is also a really great way to stay in touch.
Mm-hmm.
On Facebook, we go through our coalition, which is Texans for Responsible Marijuana Policy, or facebook.com/TexasMJPolicy. Same thing for Twitter, Texas MJ Policy. You'll be able to keep up with updates, where we're at, where we're headed, training events that we're doing around the state in January, and action alerts as we move forward toward and through the legislative session in 2019.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. I think instead of us marching against white supremacy, we should be out there marching for marijuana policy, responsible use.
Yeah, I like how you guys work.
They're wasting. Everyone's wasting their damn time out there.
If we were all able to, smoke the weeds, we'd all be relaxed.
Right. It's like, this is a simple fucking answer, everybody. Here, smoke this, and we'll all be super.
And then our differences
stoked.
won't matter.
You're right.
That's my theory.
What's interesting is, even at a lot of these protests, I think people on both sides are using it.
Yeah.
Both sides agree on this stuff, and so
that's common ground.
Of course, right,
hey
exactly.
guys, everybody, come together.
But if they were actively smoking and talking, I'm sure they'd get along. They'd be like, "No, man, I disagree with you, but man, I respect you."
Can you imagine just a big stoner circle going
Yeah,
around
just
with
stoners-
just doobies going around?
You got Antifa over there. You got
Yes.
one Nazi over there.
Just a real big circle, and they
You
just
got
making
some
the rounds.
conservatives over here, some Democrats. Oh, there's a Republican sitting over there, and they're just sitting around. Bill Clinton's gonna be part of the Democrats. It's like, hey guys.
And you're gonna have Harry Anslinger,
see it
the
now.
ghost of Harry Anslinger in the middle, just yelling, "No, no, no! You're all going crazy."
Heather, thank you so much for joining us. And
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Let's cut it.
Cut. All right.
Well, thank you, Heather, so much. We're gonna continue on with the rest of our little weird program here, talking about the end of the world. So.
All right. Well, have fun with that.
Yeah, we'll do that.
We're about to
Thanks, guys.
debunk that shit.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Bye.
Let's try to get back on Twitch here. Shut up.
Got any tunes, or you're not planning on being stopped that long?
Oh yeah, here, let me put some tunes on.
I mean, I could get used to just the hum.
I don't got any viewers.
Do we?
No. Have we got any comments or anything?
Ew! That doesn't taste like a gusher.
One viewer, I guess that's you. 16 views, though.
It's nothing.
I'm not, yeah, that's...
There we go, I got connected there. looks nice and clear though. Look at how it's a little bit cleaner looking now, huh?
Yeah, well, it's closer.
Yeah, closer is good.
Yeah. Well,
Alright,
I mean,
so
we can't have have it on all three of us with Nixon.
go ahead and put that
That phone number up. Did you share that on the Twits?
I did.
You did. What about the Facebook?
We share it. We'll share it right now on everything else.
Yeah, do the Facebook, and then I will even do it on mine. And you can do it on yours if you care. 2 viewers. Who's watching us? Anybody? Can you comment in the link on Twitch? How are you watching us?
0637?
0637. That is correct.
Alright, posted it up.
Alright.
If you guys want to call in, we're going to be popping up that number up there. We'd love for you guys to call in and talk some shit. We don't have caller ID, so
your number can't be traced.
I guess we can't find you if you guys are talking mad shit, which is kind of shitty.
Yeah, just limit the shit talking a little bit. Being real sneaky we are.
We gotta read this book. And look at, looks like it's a audio book. So we gotta listen to it. Okay.
All right. Squalor.
We're gonna have him. Yeah, we're gonna have him on. We're gonna have him on the show in October. Hey guys, call in now. We're gonna be taking some fucking phone calls. Excuse me. I'm trying to fight a cold, so I have a little cough. So, excuse me.
All right, that phone number's gonna be up in 5.
Put that. Make it big. Make it big.
2.
Yeah. It's moving around. Where's it going?
Oh, is it moving up there?
I don't know. Well, it's a 10-second delay on the TV. There it is. Look at.
Oh, nice.
Whoa, it's all big.
Man, I want to get some trolls. Where can we find some trolls?
Yeah, somebody call. Talk some shit.
Let's just share the fuck out of it. Here, I'll get on Twitch. Oh, we got 3 viewers. Ooh, the number's climbing.
Come on, call us.
I'm getting excited. Somebody get ballsy.
I'm like,
Turn that. Sound like I just kind of peeked there.
did you?
It sounded like it. Turn me down just a little bit.
All right.
I might get a little excited with this, depending on what the numbers look like. Call us now, trolls welcome. Nah, I might regret that.
Who cares if they're trolls? What are they gonna do? We want a flat earther to call us.
Oh yes.
We do need to talk about this end of the world shit, but it'd be cool if we just do an open lines
Dude,
thing.
If not, we can always bank it.
I mean, the line's open now. No one's calling, so what the fuck?
Well, hang on. I'm about to share that number. 830-875-0637. Hey, anybody can hear this? Call our live call-in number 830-875-0637.
That's right, calling us live.
We have no caller screener, so you call, you get through, and we will go from there. How's that sound?
Now ain't that a bitch?
It might be. We might regret this.
So all you need to do is call up, and we'll ask you.
Anyway, how is your sex life?
Oh man, don't. Why you gotta play that one?
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
You're kidding me, aren't you?
Did you share that thing?
I shared it
on the Facebook.
Yeah, you got that right. Let's put on one more song and then we'll get started. This one's Perry. Hello, Perry. Oh, you've got your diary. Oh, that's right. Let's see. Let's get Nick on the line here.
Have him call the number.
Come on, Nick, answer that phone. Man, I tell you what, man.
875-0637.
Hi, this is Nick. Sorry that I missed your call.
What a bitch. Never answers his phone when I call him. Never. He really never does answer his phone when I call him. He just doesn't like me.
Now, how about I call him and see if he answers my call?
He knows that you're with me. He knows we're recording the podcast today.
Well, just the fact maybe it would be me.
You're not funny, bro.
Oh, my fault. I hurt your feelings there.
You fucking hurt my feelings.
My fault. Ooh, 6 viewer. Damn, we got 6 people watching us.
Man, if you guys are watching us, call in right now.
Yeah.
I dare you to call us right now.
Just call it. Just call and hang up. You don't even have to say anything. We just want to know it's working. Come on. The number 830-875-0637.
Turn off that standby screen so that they can see our faces, our pretty faces.
Oh, someone's calling us.
Someone's calling?
Yeah, someone is calling.
I don't see it. Oh, there it is.
Answer that shit,
Call
bro.
from.
All right. Hey, you're on the line. Who is this?
To accept, press 1.
Oh.
To send a voicemail,
What the
press
fuck?
2.
Hit 1.
Hello, who's this?
Caller, you're on.
You're on the air. Who is it? Are you there?
Hi, guys.
Hey, who is this?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, it's a little weird. I thought I'd give you guys...
Turn your speakerphone on. Oh, damn it, Nick.
Who's calling? Say your name so we know who it is.
It's Coach.
I thought it was Coach.
Coach.
Hey, Coach.
What's going on? So the number does work.
Sure fucking does.
It does. I figured I'd give you a test.
That is awesome. All right.
You got anything to say? What's new with you?
Nothing. Miss you boys. I'm not
Oh.
used to the Twitch thing.
Yeah, we're getting used to it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How was the competition, Lowe's?
The competition was good. The competition was great. I'm not recording the podcast at the moment.
That's fine.
Just to let you know.
That's
Okay.
fine. I'm trying to get people on Twitch.
Yeah. Shoot, man. Yeah, the competition was fun. I got 10th place in Dolly. So that's 10th place in the world, by the way.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. How about you?
Nothing new. Same old, same old. Actually, I'm getting ready to, in a couple of months, move to our next duty station.
Duty.
Duty station, huh? Where's that going to be? Fort Hood?
We don't know yet.
Camp Mabry.
No, we're
Camp
not
Mabry.
Army. We're Coast Guard.
It's Camp Mabry,
Oh,
right?
Coast Guard.
Oh.
Sorry, I forgot.
Oh. Okay, so Lake Travis.
All right, Coach.
It's the closest that I would ever...
Never mind. Keep going.
Oh, here, let me let you guys go so you can try and get other people through.
Oh, no, you're good. You're totally good. Thank you for calling. Yeah. Heather, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you so much.
What's today's
Let's
topic?
cut it.
The topic today is the end of the world.
And thank you so much. Let's cut it.
It's supposed to be Saturday.
Saturday?
Yeah.
All right, I got some plans. I gotta start making plans.
Well, no, it was.
No, it happened on the 23rd. Are you? Yeah, you keep watching. It happened on Saturday, which it really did happen. Not the end of the world, but we'll talk about that. We've got some information. All right, let's get. Wait, let's see. Is anybody else calling? All right, Coach. Thank you so much for calling.
I'll talk to you guys later.
I got Andrew Blanton calling. Hold up. Let's
Call
see.
from.
All right.
Andy.
Andy.
Oh, they gotta say their name,
To
huh?
accept, press 1. To send a...
You're on the air. Is this Andy
Yes,
Blanton?
is this emergency exit?
That's
It
right.
is.
Guys, how you doing?
What's going on,
Dude,
brother?
are you calling from... Hold up a second. Are you calling from the spaceship that abducted you? Who is this? Is this Andy?
This is Andy. We calling from North Austin.
Oh, North Austin. I thought. Oh,
He
is that
means
where the-
north, which is like
above
Austin.
us. Well, aren't we? Because we're in the tin can.
Well, yeah, but he's also
He's
above
north
us.
of us. I gotcha.
No, what's going on,
That's right.
Andy? It's good to talk to you, man.
Listen, guys, I gotta know your opinion on something. This is really important.
All right, let's hear it. What do you got?
What did you think about the big dog, Roman Reigns, beating John Cena at No Mercy last night?
Oh, he beat John Cena?
He's everybody's favorite, right?
He pops out
And
of the
now
fucking wall.
He runs this yard.
He runs the what?
Now he runs the yard.
Oh, runs the yard.
Gotcha. He's everybody else is his bitch. Is that what you're saying? Is it pretty
And
much prison rules?
He's gonna beat up the Miz later tonight, also.
Oh.
Just want to let you know. What is this show about tonight? What you guys talking?
We just got off the phone with Heather
I heard.
Fazio. You listened. Oh, you listened. Okay. We were talking about.
I'm on Twitch right now.
Oh, my man.
Oh, he's one of the
One
people.
of the Twitchers.
All right.
Well, we're going to talk about the end of the world. At least some times where people talked about the end of the world, and the most recent one that happened September 23rd, and obviously the world didn't end, but there's some pretty cool stuff to talk about. Do you know what I'm saying?
All right, guys.
Well, Andy Blanton,
well, have fun.
It's good to hear from you again, man. He hasn't been on the show in a very, very long fucking time. So,
all right, guys. Have fun tonight.
All right, Andy Blanton, thank you so much for calling. All right, that was pretty cool. We had some calls. Let's see. We missed Ryder, so let's call him back.
All right.
You need to get onto my Facebook where I said mine right here. Call into the program and then answer that guy's question there.
Oh, gotcha.
Brian Lamont, that's Doc.
And that's on your page?
We're gonna have him on in October. Yeah, just go to my page there. We're gonna get Nick Ryder on the phone right now. He called while we were talking to Coach. So we are live right now on Twitch. We are just taking some calls. We'll ask us some hard questions and we'll answer them. It was like the first one. It was said call us whatever. Call in the line. It's not there. You're gonna have to.
Posted it.
You're gonna have to.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, sorry. Boot that. Twitch.
Why does it keep doing it? I got the sound off.
That's me.
Oh, that's you.
But it's not coming through too. Well, it's all right if it does.
Okay. It's whatever. People won't know it. It'll drive somebody crazy.
Yeah, they'll look down. They'll look at their screen. See, every time.
Hi, this is Nick.
God damn it, Nick.
Every time I call Nick, it happens that way. We didn't get Coach's call on the air. I wasn't recording. All right, so hey, if you guys are watching on Twitch right now, give us a call. Ask us a question. We like to talk about all sorts of stuff. We're gonna start talking about our whatchamacallit, end of the world shit here in a second. But
Yeah.
we're just kind of kicking back and relaxing. Is that me?
I believe so.
Nice. There's not much left anyway. Let's get some music on. No, we're on the air. What are we doing here? We're talking.
Just a comment back from Brian Lamont. According to the Facebook translation, 1,000 grazie.
Oh, that's thank you.
Yeah.
Let's read that email from
yes,
Adam from Ohio.
Ohio, listener from Ohio. He writes to us from our website. Have you been there, Los? EmergencyExitPodcast.com?
I was just on there yesterday,
okay.
but my song is still up in the front page, so you might want to...
it's going to get replaced with tonight's.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, he says, listening from Ohio, love the podcast. I've been listening for a while now and can't wait for each new episode. I just finished The War on Drugs. That game was great. Looking forward to it more in the future. I think that he's talking about the What Am I game. I think that was the first time that we actually played
Am I game? What
am I? So what am I?
We were going to play that game today, but we don't have a second person to play it with us, and
someone
we
in studio.
Quite haven't figured out how to make y'all call in and do that. That's kind of why we were doing the call-in. I had the call-in ready to go. I said, oh, man, we can get somebody to call in. He's like, well, how are they going to hear it? And I said, oh, yeah. I forgot about that, because when they're calling in, they're not hearing us as you hear us now. They're hearing us through the phone. So it's I haven't
we've got
figured out how
lots
to-
of plates spinning behind the scenes.
I don't
we're
know
hearing
how to
stuff
do it.
that you wouldn't hear if you're on the phone.
I think there would be the only other way I could think of doing it is by having you plug we need a third computer that does it all on its own.
God damn.
That has its own sound card that's receiving the audio here, but then we can take that audio and pull it through one of these right here. We'll pull it out, which will go into here. It's
I mean,
that's the only way I can think of us doing it.
We could figure it out. We'll probably have to put some work into it, but
Well, we got to talk to those. We're going to that podcasters meeting tomorrow, whatever.
We'll talk to 'em. But anyway, back to listener Adam's email. I was almost done.
Oh.
He asked, are we going to do a show on simulated reality? And maybe Adam, don't push your luck.
Is he talking about
we
Matrix,
run the show?
Matrix kind of shit?
Yeah. Are you not familiar with that?
Yeah, I took the red pill once, and
you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that
the first
scar
movie
on
was
your
cool.
face? Is that what that's from?
Yeah.
Oh.
I watched the first movie pretty recently. I didn't watch Matrix ever.
Ah.
And the first one was cool. Second one, man, and then the third one. Bleh.
Okay, and then he gave us a rating. While it's not official, it's a 5 Golden Jazz Master.
Oh, that's right. Here's the Golden Jazz Master, and he get 5. That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
So listener Adam.
That's right.
Checking us out all the way from Ohio.
Dude, Ohio.
I'll tell you what, Los. When I saw that email, that made my day, man. Just knowing somebody out there reached out, said, "Hey, good job," blah blah blah. Hey, we're doing something.
We sort of meant to do it earlier, read it earlier, but
things get busy and mixed up and
every
lost
time. See, we always just we didn't know where to put it. So
Yeah.
this time we kind of are kicking back. We're not even really going with our normal talking points as we normally go. We're just
we're flowing with it.
Flowing
We're
with
going.
it. Come on, give us a call. Who's calling us?
Yeah, ain't nobody calling us. Not even a comment on the Twitch. It's refreshing right now. But anybody, that number again, if you don't know it right now, 830-875-0637. Call in now.
Nick Ryder. I know we got Doc over there. We're gonna get him on the show. Talk about his book, Squalor.
Yeah, that sounds exciting.
I gotta read it first. So he sent me a link for the audio book, which is so much easier. But I think it's easier for me to read it nowadays. I don't really have a. I don't have a
whole lot going on.
Well, I don't have a place to listen to that.
No.
At work, I can try to listen to it, but they have a radio going on. I have to be kind of alert and shit.
I gotcha. Oh, what about on the bike on the way home?
It's barely 10 minutes, so.
Oh, okay. No, you're not making much ground in it.
Can't make much listening happen.
Okay. See, I could probably tear through it in maybe 3 days. Depending on where I'm working, I could work anywhere 30 minutes away to take me 2 hours to get to work.
What do you think about this? I'm derailing the shit out of it.
That's
but
fine.
What do you think about this kneeling thing happening with this flag? See, everyone, I can't scroll through my Facebook without seeing something where they're kneeling. Someone's talking about kneeling for the flag and good for you, heroes.
Honestly, I don't even give it that much time of day because honestly,
Probably shouldn't.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I really don't. If that's what they want to do, fine.
What's your thought on? Call us
care.
in if you guys got a thought on that flag thing.
Yeah, we want to hear
not
what's
the
your
flag
reasoning
thing,
behind
excuse
it.
me,
But the kneeling and the whole national anthem,
the disrespect
is it getting
going on the NFL fields?
Is it going way too far?
They are sons of bitches.
Are you done?
I'm Alex Jones.
That was Alex Jones.
This is InfoWars.
No,
I
was
just
working out
this
morning. This is Fox News.
No. I've watched so much shit. I'm getting so tired of watching all that stuff.
Yeah.
InfoWars and no, I'm not tired of InfoWars. I love that shit. Don't get me
I mean,
wrong.
it has a critical point where you can only take so much in a set amount of time.
I remember back when taking a knee meant taking a knee.
I saw that earlier.
Nancy Kerrigan.
Yes, I laughed probably a little too hard when I saw
That's a
that,
good
but I
one.
was like, you know what? That's a good one.
Hey guys,
was
come
enjoyable.
on, give us a call. We're gonna do this for another 5 minutes. If we don't have a call, we're going back to.
Hey, we're getting a call. I think that's Mr. Ryder. 917.
No, it's not.
All right, we got a caller. Call
from
Brian Gross.
Oh, that's
Gross.
Doc. All right, you got it on the air. You're here on the emergency exit. Who's this? I think this is Doc.
This is Doc.
Hey, Doc.
Doc.
My man. What are you doing, bro?
How you boys doing?
Man, we're just trying to get some
You seem
tacos.
so lonely, and I have stuff to do. But I figured I'd call in and give you a little bit of comfort.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Always
Thank
in
you.
the mood for a little bit of comfort. Just a little bit, though.
Just the other day, I saw him on Sunday, which was yesterday, and I guess you got some sort of mix-up with some maple syrup. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yes, I still have yet to wash that out of my beard.
Oh, the flavor saver.
I thought it was beard oil, and I put it in my beard, and it was maple syrup.
How did you make that discovery?
I smelled like a Waffle House waitress for like an hour.
Did you not smell it at first, Doc?
Thought it was maple flavored.
No.
No, you just went for it.
You never smell anything before you put it on your face.
Yeah, you're probably right. I didn't think about that.
How G-rated do I have to be?
What you think about this football kneeling thing in the touch ball?
The touch ball.
Well, I'm not a fan of the sports ball to begin with. But that said, somebody posted a really cool meme, friend of mine. It said the people not standing. Do you think the people not standing for the flag is sort of like saying that Rosa Parks was against public transportation?
Yeah, I saw that.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, not standing is like Rosa Parks going up for.
It is a beautifully simple, nonviolent way of protest.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with America. It has everything to do with the way, violence is committed against the black community by the government.
Sure.
I can see
That. I can
like
argue.
the whole,
I can argue for that.
Like how everybody's is so caught up, how disrespectful it is. Do you think honestly, like people are just too uptight, and it's just probably getting a little more attention than what something like that is? Like, aren't there more important issues going on that need to be addressed, and not just people caught up on patriotism and some would call it disrespecting it?
All right, well, that's a two-parter. First of all, I think that basically the conservative right has been claiming that liberals are snowflakes, and now they're acting like them.
Okay, so they're coming through on their actions.
Well, no, they're becoming what they used to yell about.
Oh, so they're swapping. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah. I mean, it used to be that, people like myself, an open-minded liberal, I was a libtard and a snowflake.
You were?
And now everything that I do, offends them somehow.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Isn't that
Does that
weird?
make sense?
No, because I was the same way. I was like, yeah, very liberal, man. And now I offend them, and that offends me.
I'm with you on that.
Like, you're telling me you're oppressing me.
And what was
well, just like I can't say certain things, this PC bullshit. And like, what, what? Since when is saying gay to somebody offensive? I thought that was always like, you guys took it back, and gay doesn't mean what it's supposed to mean anymore. It's like, Brandon, stop being gay. It's always like, well, that shit's
it's
gay.
It's not an insult, yeah.
It doesn't. It is an insult, but it doesn't mean it's an insult like you're gay because
you tell me to stop being gay when I have a penis in my mouth.
Yeah, well, that's a whole. Yeah, that's a different thing.
I prefer not to use that word.
I prefer as well
unless
too.
Somebody says that's how they want to identify.
Okay. You're right, and I don't. I don't say it because I have friends that I want to be friends with, so I oppress my independent thoughts, and I feel that's for their sake. Well, for the sake of a relationship that I want to have with them, and that's the thing that you got to do.
Well, yeah, I mean that's a relationship. You've got to compromise, right?
Yeah, you don't.
Well,
go ahead.
Whenever I meet somebody from the LGBT community, I always ask them, "How do you prefer to be referred to?"
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm doing this out of respect. I'm not doing it to be rude. I just want to know how you identify.
Let's say they go, I want my
like?
pronoun. My pronoun is Z, and it's Z and he. And purple is how you're going to refer to me when you see me out there.
Purple.
I don't know. Where's the extreme? You know,
where do you draw the line?
Unfortunately,
trans age.
I think unfortunately for me, I've never come across someone that was like, "Oh, you need to refer to, you can't say them." You know, that's not the right pronoun, or that's. I've always got the he and she part right, and I feel that's where it should go. You know, he and she, them, or they, or her, or him.
Right.
You know, but now we have to learn a whole new fucking set of things for. You know, for what, really? I don't know.
Well, please. I went to Vassar College. I mean, like, you could get in trouble for spelling women without a Y.
Who's spelling that with a Y?
Wow.
Whammon. Whammon. We're women.
No, you had to take the man part out of it.
Oh, that's what it is.
We're worm.
WOMYN.
Oh, I see. M-Y. Just because they can't say men. And men are fucking pigs.
Of course, we all.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah,
we are.
We are. Well, come on.
We're guys.
We are.
All right, well, boys, I have to go get drunk and tell a story. So.
Well, Doc, thank you so much. We're going to have you on very soon.
Line unless you got something else you want to talk about real quick.
Love you, bro. We'll see you at the next meeting, and check out his book, Squalor. That's right.
All right, man.
We'll see you on October, brother. Bye.
All right. Cheers. Peace.
Peace. All right, Doc. How about that?
He's got that heavy New York.
Oh yeah,
accent.
it's real deep, you know.
Oh yeah.
He was sitting on someone's lap, and someone said "Do Pacino." He's like, "Oh, well, this is a good lap." I can't do Al Pacino, but I did the. Oh.
Yeah, I mean that was enough. It got me.
All right, you
ready to start this thing?
Let's. We're cutting off the lines. Everybody's done. We're done with this line thing. Thank you guys for trying to call in.
Yeah, it was fun.
If you missed it out and you're watching this in the future, why don't you guys give us a call next time? Are these videos able to be saved onto like Twitch? I tried watching the video we made and it's not saved on there, so we need to figure that out so they can watch it in the future, the live stream.
Okay.
Okay.
Noted.
All right. Let's. We've got somebody here. No, it's just Brandon. Oh,
yeah,
no.
just me. Still me. Nobody new.
Yeah, but Brandon, you're gonna go ahead and you've got some sort of special report. So let's do it. That's right. Our very own Mr. Hardhat himself has a special report. Well, I don't know how special it is. We could have done it right away if it was a special report, right?
It's just a report. Let's just leave it at that. Let's call it what it is.
So grab your beers, sit back, relax. If you guys do want to call us later, we might open the shit. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll just
see if
go with it.
We'll see if we can get Andy to call back again and ask him about some political stuff. He loves to talk about that stuff. He loves to get crazy on it. That's right. I'm talking about you, Andy.
Yes,
my man. My man. That's right. Here, let's. I wish I had a clip of Andy saying something. That'd be cool. So.
Sure, we can find it.
Here's Andy for you.
Well.
That's not Andy.
That's Andy. We'll just pretend.
All right. Go ahead.
All right. So, am I just supposed to set this up? The end of the world. Supposed to happen on the 23rd, which was Saturday, if I'm not mistaken.
The 23rd, yeah.
Yeah. And what is it, Monday the 25th? And hey, we're still here.
Yeah, it was supposed to end so they said, and then I saw something like the day before saying the guy said not really actually.
He canceled it. Rain delay. Or not rain delay, rain check. Rain check.
Rain check, rain delay.
Yeah, yeah, it's indefinite. But it seems like stuff like this always happens. But anyway, this one very specifically is put on. It's been around since about '95 by a woman, Nancy Leader, founder of Zeta Talk. It's a website that she put together, and it's basically where she spreads the messages that the aliens, the Greys, send her, because her background story is that she's been abducted several times, and they actually implanted something, not in her butt. Or damn it, I should have said not in her anus, but her head, They decided to go on the other end of her body.
So they put something in her head?
Put something in her head that made it, pretty much made it where she can receive messages from them.
So has she ever gotten an X-ray so that this can be proven?
Well, that's what I'm unsure of, but probably
I would have dug into that a little bit more.
I didn't.
That'd have been funny.
Well, go for it. I'll set this up and go for it. Yeah, she claims to have been abducted by the Greys from the Zeta Reticuli star system.
Yeah, the Zeta Reticuli, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know about them?
Of course,
Shit,
I go there all the
everybody
time.
knows about the Zeta Reticuli.
I was there last weekend. Where were you?
Zeta Reticuli, I barely know her. That doesn't make sense.
Oh, I know, but I love that line. If you can work that in, almost. Okay, anyway, we're getting off track here.
Yeah.
But basically,
Tell
she
me
first suggested that Nibiru would cross the inner solar system in May 2003.
What's Nibiru?
That is
Nibiru.
the planet X. What is what you deemed the mysterious planet?
Oh, we were talking. Yes, Planet X. We're talking
Planet
about
X.
Planet X.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about Planet X here?
It has several names because it's supposed to hit us. Is what this?
Oh,
theory
is that
says.
what's going on with
yeah,
this?
it's supposed to either hit us or do a near
Who
miss.
the fuck said that shit?
That was
Homegirl.
I think that's your boy, David Mead. No, I'm sorry. He's the one that just rehashed this. But yeah, you're getting me all flustered over here. But yeah, Nancy Leader back in 1995
Okay, go
put
ahead.
it together because I mean there's a whole background story, but we would have to get into the ancient Sumerians and those 20,000 clay tablets that
you
were
should've.
found. That's another show, man. I figure we can do that later, but
That
right
would've
now
been
this
fucking
episode we're just covering the end of the world that was supposed to happen on the 23rd.
Okay, sorry. Take it easy. What are you yelling at me for?
I'm not yelling. Nobody's yelling.
Who's yelling at? I'm not. Everyone on the bus.
Yeah, there you go. But anyway, she essentially drew this theory together from all of that information, and said, "Hey, it's going to end in 2003, May 2003." It came around kind of like our boy earlier, David Mead, kind of redacted it the day before, saying, "Oh no, hang on, we're going to push it back." You know, she kind of did the same thing, but basically that it would be destroyed by the giant planet passing close to the Earth, and its essentially its mass would pull the Earth apart and cause the poles to shift.
Reverse.
Yes.
I think Andy was talking about that shit. He sent me this video about this. The poles are gonna reverse and shift over, and I was like, man, can anybody just like condense this into 5 minutes so they don't have to watch an hour boring lecture with this guy?
Yeah, that's the hard stuff, but it's all usually very dry stuff. But they don't want you to know it.
Yeah, you have to sit through some boring old guy's lecture about some bullshit.
And then it always seems to go way back in the ancient times.
I need someone
and
cool
the naked
to like
wrestling.
describe things like Ben Shapiro or something, like somebody nice and concise, you know,
Yeah.
that can really get into it real well.
All right, good presentation value.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Maybe that's what we can do.
What?
Do that. Just present items like that in a fun, new, catchy way.
I mean, we can,
Yeah.
or might not be funny.
But anyway, so after rescheduling the anomaly, it kind of died off, and it was just brought back a couple years ago by Christian numerologist David Mead. Now, a Christian numerologist, like what? Have you ever heard that job title before?
Christian numerologist.
Yeah.
Well, obviously he's probably just a numerologist that happens to be Christian, but they gave him such a weird little.
Well, no, I feel like if that was the case, it would be like he's a numerologist, like comma Christian, but this he's saying it's Christian numerologist.
Well, would you say if he was a Satanist, would you say Satanist numerologist David Mead?
Numerologist, comma Satanist, active Satanist.
Well, I mean, I see your point.
Mhm.
I mean, I definitely see your point.
I'm just
But
arguing
I think-
semantics.
Semantics.
Yeah,
Semantics.
Yeah, that's what it is. But anyway,
You know who David Mead is? Have you done any research on him?
Oh, a little bit. He reminded me a lot of David Rousseau.
Rousseau, huh?
Yeah. So anyway, how is your
Oh, hi,
sex
Mark.
life? Oh. I figured that was the button you were going for.
No, see, David Mead's background, dude. He's got a pretty credible background, dude. Like he's worked with Fortune 500 companies, writing special management reports.
Hmm.
Can you
special management reports?
Whatever that's supposed to mean, I don't know, man.
It's like the TPS report.
I mean, it's all, things you can look up about him. It's true, or I don't know if anyone's gone into his credibility, but he sounds like he sounds like he does. You know, he's wrote a bunch of conspiracy books.
Mm-hmm. He wrote one about the coup, about Trump, about President Trump.
You know how to speak French?
I just know that is a coup.
Coup
d'état.
D'état. I don't know how to say it either. But yeah, what is that against President Trump?
Yeah, just the overthrow.
Master's degree in statistics. Also claims to have received a degree from the University of Kentucky in astronomy. So he's like, yeah, man, I know the stars.
And I know statistics, and what there has to be a chance of life out there.
Yeah, since we're talking about Nibiru, but I don't think I've heard anything about him talking about. Yeah, he does talk about Planet X, but I just don't. NASA would say that there would be an X there somewhere. There'd be. I mean, there's no reason why. I mean, if it's coming for us, and they have to keep it from us, what's the point of keeping it from us?
At some point, we'd be able to see it. Right?
Yeah.
Once it got close enough, because
well,
it's
I guess
supposed
that's
to be
the problem where people
large.
are seeing it, and like they took the last time people were able to see it is during the eclipse that we just recently had, where they started seeing it, and then they saw this like bright red like crescent that was right over here, and they're claiming that's Nibiru, and that's what causes it happens to be in front of the sun and between us and the sun. I don't know if it's between the moon, but
that I haven't stumbled across that one.
It's definitely not between us and the moon. I mean, where is Nibiru?
It's supposed to be in orbit. Its orbit is supposed to take it way past out Neptune. It's like an orbital period of, it's like 10,000 years or something like that. It's just a ridiculous amount of time.
10,000 to 20,000 years to orbit the sun. How do they calculate that? That's a lot of years that they're throwing in there. Just like 10 to 20. You know, you could say like,
I mean, at that point
15 to 16. That'd be I get that's more ideal, but they're saying 10 to 20,000 years to orbit the sun. Okay.
Yeah. Well, because you're doubling it from 2 to 4,000. If you're just on that scale, that's not bad. But when you get up to 10,000 miles, 10 to 20,000 miles, that's a lot, man.
And if it's as big as it's supposed to be, like if it's bigger than the moon, because it appears bigger than there and it's able to cover the sun, I thought that's what they believed. No, I guess Nibiru is not what's covering the sun.
It has to be the moon. It has to be the moon.
Yeah, well, who the fuck knows, dude? Anyways, yeah, keep going. I got some more here. He's a legend in Pinewood Derby Racing Circuit. What do you know about that?
I just thought that was pretty funny. He wrote some sort of book that is the must-have for the Pinewood Derby enthusiasts.
The textbook.
Yeah, it's like how to build like the best and use all the innovative aerodynamics and weighting system. So I just thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, and he's got his theory, and it's not about the end of the world. Well, it sort of is because
it's like the start of it.
It's the start of the end of the world because you got the rapture and then the millennium of glory or some shit where you're living with Christ or whatever, some weird crap that they're talking about.
It's like a working interview with Christ before you get into heaven.
I don't know. Well, we'll talk to him. We'll talk about that in a little bit later.
Oh, okay.
Tell me more about this planet Nibiru.
Well, where it is?
Yeah.
All right. Well, like we said, Planet X is an undiscovered, so it's kind of a myth. It's people think it's there, but it hasn't been actually discovered. It's thought to reside within or beyond the Kuiper Belt. That's that large band of asteroids that's between. Well, I don't know. Do you know what planets it's between?
No.
It's like Jupiter and Saturn,
And does it orbit the sun?
It does orbit the sun, but it's a very elliptical pattern.
It's very long and sharp.
And it's very long on one side, so it swings way, way, way out in the solar system past Neptune. It's what I think they call it a TNO, a Neptunular orbit or something like that.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it's a fancy word there. And then it comes all the way back in, and I think at its closest point, it's somewhere around, let me see, I think it's somewhere around Venus. In that area. So it's really, really close in this swing. It's more along the lines of a comet. And see things like that aren't unusual in our solar system. I mean, that's precisely what a comet is. They just, Halley's Comet is every 47 years, I think. Is that what it is, somewhere in there? So that in itself is pretty long, but 10 to 20,000 years, that's a long time.
Yeah, it totally is. And speaking of Halley's Comet, we got some sort of comment from Chris Bard, and it was some long-winded thing once again about we should listen to his Hollow Earth episode again. I don't know if you've even heard the second Hollow Earth episode that we had, nor do I think he's going to hear this
He might, though. I mean,
No, he doesn't listen to our show, man. He just wanted to talk about his stuff, and that's all he cares about. If it's got nothing to do with Hollow Earth or prove me wrong, Chris Bard.
So we got used. We got used like some cheap bar floozy.
Well, we sort of, had him on too, so I guess we benefited a little bit of that.
Yeah, we got something.
Let's talk about some false alarms, man.
Oh yeah, because
there's been other ones where there was end of the world. I remember there was
2012, the Mayan one. That's there was that. I think that's probably the most recent one, at least that I know of. But I'm sure they're all out there. I mean, we could probably make one. Hey guys, the world's gonna end in 5 weeks,
right?
Unless you listen to Emergency Exit Podcast, then we'll tell you the secrets to avoid the rapture.
Everybody's gonna die.
Oh, that's it, everybody. Okay, well, everybody enjoy the next 5 weeks.
Everybody's gonna die if you don't listen to Emergency Exit Podcast. Ooh. The frogs are gay.
And I was listening to Fox News.
Yeah. Anyways, so what else? Tell me some more false alarms.
Well, these false alarms, just notable in '97. I think everybody remembers Heaven's Gate. 29 members. They all drank the Kool-Aid. The UFO religious group committed suicide with the aim of boarding a UFO that was hiding behind the Hale-Bopp comet. What a coincidence! We brought that up.
So Halley's Comet,
and then I remember hearing about that. They actually
how
really
would they get on there?
Well, it's they have to time their ascension to heaven, I think, and it's supposed to as they're going up, they're supposed to rendezvous with the spaceship.
I mean, could you imagine 30 people, nearly 30 people, 29? They joined this, this cult essentially, and they were convinced if we got on this boat, this
spaceship,
we'll be able to fly up to Halley's Comet. That only happens every 50 years or whatever, and we'll hop on the back of it because it happens to be the happy
where
world.
Our spaceship is.
Oh, that's our spaceship.
Yeah,
so
there was the spaceship that's hiding behind it.
Oh, so if they drank the Kool-Aid, the Kool-Aid would send them.
Carlos's mind just exploded.
He's a fucking nut.
He's a nut. I mean, he had 28 other people do it. I mean, that goes to tell you there's suckers out there. But 2003, Planet X was supposedly discovered by the ancient Sumerian people and meant to hit Earth in 2003. But hey, it never arrived.
Never arrived.
Yeah,
Oh, you don't say.
We're still here. 2003.
You don't.
This catastrophe was initially predicted for May 2003, but when nothing happened, the doomsday was moved forward to December 2012. Hey, that's we were just talking about that. The Mayans.
The Mayan.
Yeah, and of course they said something. It was an error, and something maybe like they didn't account for a leap year. I think that's probably what it was.
Yeah, well, it's weird that they have that instead. It's weird how we tell time and how we've done it. There are lots of different theories out there, and maybe we should do an episode on that. We should write that down.
Different versions of time.
Yeah, different ways. How we got to where we're at now. You want to go back and learn history. I love that kind of stuff. We should definitely research and talk about why we take time the way we do, how we did this, how that came around, how months came around, how February happens.
Why we lost several months when we switched to the Gregorian calendar.
Yeah, see, Gregorian. We'll talk about that. Okay. Perfect.
Oh, and then we can fit in the Phantom Time conspiracy. Do you know about that one?
No.
That we're missing like 300 years.
Oh, we're definitely missing. Shit, yeah.
All right. Well, hey, that's to come. Keep your eyes peeled for that one. A little more recently, in 2011, it was supposed to end 21st of May. The Christian doomsday prophet Harold Camping predicted the rapture would begin at 6 p.m. in each of the world's time zones, wiping out naysayers with rolling earthquakes as believers ascended to heaven.
So he thought he's like exactly at 6 p.m. You guys at everyone
in every time zone. So
like
would all...
that's what I thought about. Like Y2K was going to happen. Like so I remember watching like the midnight,
ball drop?
the ball drop thing, and like that happened already. If it happened for them, it happened for me. It's like it doesn't just like roll out like okay, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. It's like everyone's going to get hit at the same fucking time.
Yeah.
And it's going to be one central location.
So you're saying God doesn't abide by time zones?
He doesn't give a shit
like
about
Arizona.
no time. Yeah. Do they not have a time zone?
I think it's Arizona, yeah. And they also don't participate in daylight savings.
Oh.
And
it's a farmer's thing anyway. See, we can talk about that.
Exactly
like lots
what
of
it
thing
is.
about time. That's cool, man. We'll talk about all the different, thing like, daylight savings and shit. That's very interesting.
Yeah, it is. In 2012, NASA had to debunk an ancient Maya prophecy theory about the world ending back.
We were talking about that
Yeah,
one.
we mentioned that one. 2015, Chris McCann, leader and founder of the E-Bible Fellowship, said the world would be engulfed.
Golfing with flames, Julian.
And destroyed by a great fire on October 7th. What were you doing 2015, October 7th? You remember? Where were you?
I was probably working.
I don't remember.
Working and doing nothing, going home smoking pot.
That's probably not a bad thing. But McCann said
October last year?
Was that? That was 2 years ago.
Oh,
2 years ago, my friend.
Yeah, well, I don't know. October last year, we started the podcast.
Yeah.
That's right. Almost 1 year. Shit.
Man, time flies, right?
Jesus.
McCann said he was surprised by the outcome and wrote a blog post entitled "A Response to Being Incorrect with the Prediction That in All Likelihood the World Would End on 2007." So he was surprised that all these people believed him. It's pretty surprising. You say the world is going to end on this specific date, and you get a lot of people who will believe it. And I mean, in several of these instances, these are just a few, but in the ones that happen over time, people sell their everything. Their house, their car, and will use that money to just forward the cause and try to save other people. And when that day comes, they absolutely have nothing. Don't be a sucker.
Don't be a fucking sucker.
Don't be a sheep.
So we talked about a few of those end of the world theories and shit and why people went around and did it. But we did want to talk about this recent one here, the September 23rd, 2017, which was prophesized quite a long time ago. Matter of fact, it started as early as 2015 when they were talking about originally there's some sort of significant. There was what they called the Bethlehem Star popped up in Jerusalem or some shit in 2000. I'll get into that in a second, but David Mead, I wanted to have him on the program, so I reached out to him, and he sent me this long ass fucking letter, but he did want to summarize a few important things because a lot of people were taking what he was saying and saying that the world was going to end, and this is just his way of clearing up because I'm sure he got a bunch of backlash. So he said, before we proceed, let's summarize some important points. Number one, nothing is expected to happen in September. And number two, it is possible at the end of October we may be about to enter into the 7-year tribulation period to be followed by a millennium of peace. That's what I wanted to say earlier, millennium of peace. 7-year tribulation period. And he also says we may be. So there's also that maybe. Number three, so he covered the base.
Yeah, you throw that in there
just
to
in
cover
case it doesn't happen. Number three, when Wormwood, which is Revelation 8, is on close approach to the Earth sometime during the tribulation, you'll have solar flares and a possible loss of the electrical grid for weeks, maybe longer.
Not the electrical grid. We need that.
We do need that. We wouldn't have anything. First of all, before it says, actually, I'll read the rest of these before I read this here. Then it also says number 4. However, that's the main risk I see right now because, as I've stated in my book, right after the initial solar flare, risk I see the rapture of the true church.
The true church.
Right after the initial solar flare risk, I see rapture of the true church, he says. Before that, he goes and says, read my book. Tells you everything. Buy my book.
Oh, of course. Well, he's got to pay the bills.
Until the rapture happens. Pretty 5, pretty cool. We're all gone.
So if you're not a member of the true church,
I'm sure he's saved, so he's happy for the rapture,
Oh yeah, he's just waiting. He's got his ticket and his bags packed.
He's got a ticket to ride to the rapture. Jesus said when the end of days approached, we need to, quote, watch and pray. That's all he really said, and that's all we need to do. We need to have clear conscience and peace with God.
Okay.
Jesus did not provide additional instructions except to, quote, occupy until the end. This means use common sense. Yeah. So they're saying, no, the world's going to end. You don't mean go sell your fucking house and shit.
Yeah.
That's essentially what he's trying to tell me here. Common sense. Use common sense when you hear things like this. And, you did say it right.
Just use your comfort find your comfort in your faith.
But
what it sounds like.
But what does he say? So in Revelation 12, verse 1, 2, and I think this is part of 4 in the Bible. It says, "A great sign appeared in the sky, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. She was with child and wailed aloud in pain as she labored to give birth. She gave birth to a son, a male child, destined to rule all the nations with an iron rod." Iron rod. So they kind of interpret this, so they're saying there's a woman in the sky. And this if you let me tell you, get a program. It's called Stellarium.
Mm-hmm.
And you can look at where constellation, stars, suns, moons, planets, their orbit, all over you, and you can find out through time. You can take it back in time. You can take it forward through time. And I took it to.
It's like 20,000 years or something.
Yeah, 20,000
The year
years.
20,080.
Fucking crazy.
14 or something.
You can find out where the North Star possibly will be by then.
What about the South Star?
South Star too, or if the pole changes, who knows? I don't know if it tells the future like that.
It doesn't account for it.
What is happening here is kind of described literally as it tells in Revelation. So, you got a woman clothed with the sun, and if you look this up, go ahead and look up September 23rd, 2007. I have it pulled up here already. And you'll see that the woman clothed with the sun, that is the constellation Virgo, which, of course, the sun is in front of Virgo or behind Virgo, and that's where we're at right now. And if that's your month, right now is your month. Right now is your month, and you're a Virgo right now.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee right now you're a Virgo.
I am.
That's right. Because the sun happens to be coming through the constellation. Everyone knows that already. And so the moon was under her feet. And that night, it was under her feet.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the 9 stars of the zodiac Leo that's above the constellation Virgo, those are going to be 9 of the 12 stars on the crown. The other ones are 3 planets that are like perfectly aligned, all in one fucking line: Mercury, Venus, and Mars. And that's the 12 stars on her crown.
That's the crown.
So they're trying to say that. And also, planet Jupiter will be in the center of Virgo as the weeks pass, and they're saying that Jupiter is because she's with baby, she's with child, so she's pregnant.
Oh, Jupiter's the baby.
That's right.
And so
it exits out. It sort of exits out through the legs.
As it's.
I don't know if that's true. I didn't go that far out of it.
I mean, that would make sense. I mean, why wouldn't it now? Because this whole theory, but I don't know. I can't picture it which way they're moving. But no, maybe it wouldn't.
It's just weird looking at this program. It kind of just sits and looks at the constellation, so you're constantly moving with it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going with it, because I was trying to look at it without it, and it kept moving, so I had to stop and let it sit there, and then I would watch things go around it. So it's crazy how you're viewing it. But if you were really viewing it in the way that you're seeing it on your computer, you'd be like looking at it and moving with it, so that it always stays right there in front of you.
Right.
Otherwise, and then that's just
because it's all constantly moving. Yeah.
It's all moving. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to talk about that Bethlehem star. This was another theory which came out in 2000, just in January, and he was talking about September 23rd. This is going to happen where they're going to line up. But he's talking about how the Bethlehem star appeared in 0 AD. Okay. Marking the birth of Christ. They knew that, and it popped up in the east. 2,000 years before that, the Bethlehem star was also seen in the sky. And who was born then? The father of the Jews, Abraham. Right, and that started the whole Jewish religion.
2,000
right?
years.
And then of course 2,000 years later, you have the King of Jews born. So he believes that Jesus' birthday was probably in September.
Oh, okay. Wow, not in December or in like the springtime.
Which it's totally possible it was. It's just through time and the way we're telling time, it definitely probably was. Who knows?
Yeah.
They also claim that the celestial event only happened 7,000 years ago, and it's never happened since. So from the standpoint of astronomy, there's nothing unique or unusual about the sun, moon, and planets or the constellation Virgo the constellation of Virgo there.
Yeah.
So on September 23rd, 2017, that's when it's going to happen. It did happen. And you can absolutely see that.
So it sounds like he kind of took this knowledge, knowing that these were going to have it, and he kind of worked it into his theory.
Yeah, and he says he's, an astronomer. He says he's got a degree
from
or
the
whatever.
University of Kentucky. I
Yeah.
mean, they're known for their astrology
I
program.
guess so. Who knows? I didn't know that. Is that a fact?
Not anything I say is a
Yeah,
fact.
so it seems it makes a lot of sense. It works great. But if you look, and I've done it. I got this app and on my computer, and I looked it up, and this happened at least 4 times in the last 1,000 years. And look it up. It's 1827. All of them are in that same area, and it's all going to be somewhere in September, because that's how we tell the time. It doesn't change. Notice that constellation's still there. The sun is still there in that constellation every single time we look back. So 1827, 1483, 1293, and 1056. The year 1056, man, that's a long fucking time ago, man. Could you imagine there are people living, doing shit?
I mean, that was even before the Middle Ages. I mean, what do you know of any key events that happened in the 1026 time?
I mean, I couldn't tell you, man. I'd love
Probably
to know more.
Barbaric. I think that. I think that's when Game of Thrones was set, right?
Well, you might know that. I don't know that
No,
shit.
it's totally different universe.
You know that?
Totally different universe.
Well, needless to say, the world didn't end, and a lot of these claims are just fucking whack jobs.
Yeah.
And it's okay, man. It's totally okay.
So when you have somebody coming to you saying, rapture is near, come with me, followers, your yellow flag should go up immediately. If they're trying to tell you, hey, this is the end of times is among us. It is this exact date. You should be a little cautious. Pump the brakes on that. Yeah, and proceed with caution.
Always proceed with caution. just like what Mead was saying. He was saying, use common sense.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense with his, don't go off selling your home and all that. Like, that is common sense. But a lot of these people who do this don't have common sense.
What about for Nibiru? You might have been seeing something out there. It could have just been Uranus.
We can call it Uranus.
All right, thank you guys for listening so much. That has been another episode of Emergency Exit. It seems as though we've been let down yet again by these end of the world theories. Good thing we didn't rush off and sell everything we own.
Well,
I mean, we could have sold off. We just didn't want to do that.
I may have sold a few things.
Fuck it.
But I needed the money, not because of the end of the world.
Well, you could buy. Fuck it. Don't buy shit.
Yeah, just save.
There's
Invest.
the music popping up saying that's the end of the show.
Yeah. Special thanks to marijuana rights enthusiast Heather Fazio of the Marijuana Policy Project.
Huh?
More information can be found on their Facebook page. Also, links will be listed on our blog. Be sure to come and check us out in 2 weeks. We'll be live from Adalbert's Brewery for 3 Sundays. Count them, 3 Sundays.
Yeah, and we're going to have Doc's going to be on there. You heard him earlier.
Oh, that's going to be a good one. That New York accent.
Yeah.
For some reason, that made me want pizza.
I'm hungry for some pizza.
New York pizza, man. Maybe he'll bring pizza.
No,
No?
I don't think so. He's
all right.
He's not like living there. So we've been on Twitch, you guys. We've been streaming live on Twitch. We are going to try to keep doing this line thing. If you guys are ever in the Austin area, come by and we'll have you on. San Francisco, I know you're listening out there. You need to announce yourself. We want you to call us up and say hello. Check us out on Facebook, emergencyexit.com, emergencyexitpodcast.com. So for Brandon Mitchell, I'm Lo saying, that's right.